About 2 weeks ago, there was another YouTuber by the name of Extra Credits who did a video claiming that playing as the bad guy in video games makes you, in real life, a bad guy, and that developers are forcing gamers to play as the bad guy, citing Call of Duty World War II and other games that feature certain factions such as the World War II German Party. Of course, you are not forced to be the bad guy because war is war and teams are random in multiplayer. And on top of that, gamers choose to buy the game in the first place. But I'm not here to argue or break down the video. Other channels like Geeks and Gamers or The Quartering have already done that. I'm simply here to state my opinion on the subject. And, in my opinion, playing as the bad guy in a video game does not make you a bad guy in real life. So, let's get into it.
Tell me like a Hellcat.
Before we get started, I have a favor. If you enjoy my content and want to see me continue to improve in both quality and size, please check out my Patreon linked in the description. Any amount helps and it is greatly appreciated. There are so many rewards for each level of donation, so go check it out. Now back to the video. Video games are an expression of art and ideas, as well as a getaway from stress of the real world. Like cracking open a good book on a rainy day, video games can be that same getaway and feeling. However, some games do display rather questionable and controversial themes, some more than others. But the games and game genres being grouped together in this video are not guilty of what they're being accused of. In fact, most, if not all, games are innocent of this. Video games, unless something is already wrong with the person, cannot make them a bad guy, or by extension, violent, as Extra Credits would claim. I have quite a few reasons for this. First being, among other things, just because you do something in a video game does not mean you can or will do it in real life. Virtual Reality Surgeon Simulator doesn't make you a qualified surgeon, FIFA doesn't make you a professional soccer player, GTA doesn't make you a criminal, Red Dead does not make you a cowboy, playing a mage in an RPG does not give you magic, and therefore being a Nazi in a video game does not make you a Nazi in real life. Saying otherwise is honestly ignorant. The only way any of these things hold partially true is if there is prior experience with any of the scenarios present in the game. If playing as a Nazi in Call of Duty World War II makes you a white supremacist Nazi in real life, you have had some issues beforehand that you need to sort out and not blame the game. Following another one of their claims, game developers are normalizing the bad guys. This is not true. In fact, with games like Battlefield, where there isn't really a story instead of a highly immersive multiplayer, the presence of bad guys is restricted to the use of flags, logos, uniforms, vehicles, and outside of visual and occasional spoken depictions, the bad guys are scarcely even featured. In fact, in Battlefield, the Nazi flag is replaced with a white cross, even further censoring it. All the games are is a jumbled mess of Team A shooting Team B and vice versa. Normalizing would be if the developers were to make the bad guys the main or only faction or character the player had access to. Normalizing would be if the No Russian mission from Modern Warfare 2 were how the whole game played out. Developers are not normalizing by including anything in the game. The only thing being normalized, if you can even call that, is what the main focus of the game is. Extra Credit also claims the developers are forcing players to play as the bad guy. Firstly, unless you're living under a rock before the game releases, you should know whether or not the game has a multiplayer, and if that multiplayer includes good and bad factions. If so, you know there's a 50% chance of you being put on the bad guy's team. So if you buy the game, it's a choice and all up to the RNG of what team you're on. Secondly, as I stated, the teams are determined by basically a random number generator. There are 2 teams. Say as in Battlefield's case, there are 20 people per team. You're grouped up based on average MMR and split into 2 teams. At this point, the RNG decides which faction to place you on. It's not forced, not selected, and not normalizing. It's honestly purely just a random number generator. I know as I said I wasn't going to break down this person's argument, but what the heck, I love breaking apart the reasons of ignorant people. So let's continue. Extra Credits did however make a fair point. That is, games should be red versus blue, which at face value makes great sense. But in an immersive war simulation like Battlefield or Call of Duty, taking away the factions and teams and just inserting identical characters with palette swaps takes away from the allure and immersion of such game. But back to the main argument, being a bad guy in a video game doesn't make you a bad guy in real life. Just think of a task or activity you do in a video game. Does performing that task make you better at or even able to do that task in real life? Most cases, the answer is a big fat no. So the same goes for playing as a member of an organization or player class. Just because you play as a Nazi, for example, does not mean you are immediately a Nazi in real life. That's just not how life works. Actually, after writing the script for this, I found an article that I will link in the description where the author states that they personally saw themselves playing games according to their mental state at the time, citing that whenever they were stressed or feeling, quote, psychotic, they gravitated towards violent games, which goes to support my claim that becoming violent because of video games usually means there's some anger and violence before the game even starts. He then goes on to say that regardless of his emotion or mental state beforehand, the video game never made him violent. They went on to cite Dr. Michael Fraser, I'm not 100% sure the pronunciation, a clinical psychologist in New York City and professor at Weill Cornell Medical College, as saying, "We wouldn't want anybody to think, when we use the term video game addiction or compulsive gaming, that the problem lies in the video game, any more than the problem with an alcoholic lies in a can of beer. Many people can have one can of beer and that's it." He also stated, others may have a biological predisposition towards addictive behaviors in general. So, just according to that, my opinion is also supported by a doctor, and he says it perfectly. You cannot blame a game for people's actions, especially if they are predisposed to addictive behaviors. But that's just my opinion. I don't encourage sending any hate towards extra credit. This was just kind of a critique and opinion analysis video, as of course the series is. But if you have a difference of opinion, thoughts, or critiques, feel free to leave them in the comment section below or in the channel designated to the series in my Discord. For now, a teaser to the next topic in this series. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Go follow me on all my social medias and keep up to date with me off the channel. Of course, go to my Discord, join the conversation. Also, go support me on Patreon. It would really help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Matt, the EmeraldAvenger. Peace out.